Aprilynne, it's now the time where we kind of always like to turn the tables right now and sort of flip it around and give you a chance to ask me a question, and we have that little part of the conversation. So, is there anything you want to hit me with?
Yes, I imagine that your viewers know, but some of mine may not. You write for all three of the children's genres. You write YA, in fact, you write upper YA, and you have some middle grade, and you have children's books now. And so I want to know what particularly draws you to the children's market. I mean, you're not a child, you are an adult, and I think that a lot of people look at adults who write for children kind of oddly and either say, when are you going to write a grown-up book, or what is it about children's books that makes you passionate about them? Because I think that you have to be.
Yeah, well, it's certainly a question that we all face. I mean, yes, I do write for the children's picture books, and I write for the middle grade level, and I definitely write that upper YA that is, virtually R-rated. I don't know that as an author, though, that any of them feels necessarily unnatural. You know, you swim in the waters, you feel, I don't want to get too sort of artistic about it, but you swim in these waters that you feel most drawn to and passionate about. And for me, the children's picture books are an area I've been doodling with children's picture books ever since I was a child. So it's just now they're published. Is that, having not yet written kind of a quote-unquote adult novel is one of those things, though, that it's sort of sticks in my craw. I wonder, am I ever going to pen a book that's like literary fiction, but every good idea I have is like YA, baby? I mean, this is it, middle school YA. I just feel immensely drawn to this part, and obviously my background as an educator, teacher, working with young kids, and maybe the height of my maturity kind of peaked out at about 14 or so, and I think that that's kind of the answer right there. But I would actually turn that on you and say, so why are you sort of working in the realm of YA?
I have always loved teenagers. In fact, I don't see myself ever writing middle grade or picture books. Which isn't to say I don't like kids. I should probably mention that before. But I literally remember when I was growing up, my father telling me frequently, "I can't wait till you guys are teenagers. Being teenagers is so fun. I can't wait to parent my own teenagers." And now people will tell me, when I'm talking about my kids, oh, just wait till they turn into teenagers. I'm like, I know, right? And that's not really the answer that they're expecting. And I tell my daughter that, too, that I can't wait till she's a teenager. So I was literally raised to be excited about teenagers. I had a very good teenagehood, and now I can't wait for my own kids to be teenagers. I have often in my church group worked with the teenagers. My life has been very teenage-oriented. Something else is that I met my husband when I was a teenager. And so I was I was 18 and he was 19, but we were teenagers.
That counts, that counts.
And so I'm a believer in teenage love, and I write teenage romance generally. And I think that feeds that fire as well.
So do people sort of give you any grief about sort of working in this realm of teenage romance and and then that sort of thing, or are you just like, I own it, this is my space, this is where I feel drawn? Or do you get any pushback from areas and stuff, or how do you exist in that space?
Some of both, actually. People definitely give me grief, but usually not for very long, because I do own it. I'm like, do you guys have any idea how important the teenage years of your life are, and the decisions that you make that mold who you're going to be as an adult? I mean, you choose where to go to college, you're exploring your sexuality, you are deciding things like whether you're going to get addicted to drugs and alcohol. I mean, you are making lifelong decisions during those years. It's such an important time, and I am ready to just go off on anyone about how if we continue to teach our teenagers that they're not important, we're destroying the next generation of adults.
Man, Aprilynne, I love you. This is like, you're so brave, you're so out there, I mean, just parents get uncomfortable. Sexuality, drugs, violence, decisions about shaping their future,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, look, that is what it is. And your books are sort of taking it on with real characters who, are really facing these things and they're torn about it and how they work through. Excellent. Aprilynne, I would like to thank you so much for sort of coming on today's show. My name is Alan Sitomer. This is Aprilynne Pike. I encourage you to go check out her stuff, visit her website, follow her on Twitter. We are all about giving the love up for our guest today, Aprilynne Pike. Thank you guys very much for joining us today. Sayonara.